Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a hard, completely unfiltered look at the silent destruction of debt. Whether it's credit cards, personal loans, student debt, whatever it is, it can feel like this massive, heavy anchor constantly holding you back. It creates stress, anxiety, and just that sinking feeling of being totally trapped. But hey, I've got some good news for you. No matter how deep that debt feels right now, there is absolutely a way out. Today, we're giving you a step-by-step blueprint to permanently escape it, accelerate your path to financial freedom, and actually take back control of your life. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty tactics, we really need to acknowledge a hard truth. Temporary sacrifice can create permanent freedom. So many of us fall into debt because we're chasing instant gratification, right? Using spending as stress relief or maybe buying things just to impress people. But trading your temporary comfort today by cutting out impulse shopping, those expensive habits, or all those unused subscriptions is literally the only way to build long-term freedom for tomorrow. So ask yourself right now, do you want temporary comfort today or permanent freedom forever? All right, let's dive straight into this playbook. We're going to conquer your debt by adopting three distinct expert mindsets. First, reality and restraint through the eyes of the accountant. Second, strategy and optimization like a master banker. And finally, wealth and mindset like a financial advisor. Okay, part one, reality and restraint. Enter the accountant. Here, the entire focus is strictly on auditing the actual reality of your situation and aggressively stopping the bleeding. Listen, you absolutely cannot escape debt if you're still creating it. It's just a mathematical impossibility. So, our accountant gives us three ironclad rules of engagement. First, put the credit cards away immediately. If you can't pay for it in cash today, you just can't afford it. Second, pull up those bank statements and audit your last 3 months of spending. Find the leaks, cut the subscriptions, and ruthlessly reduce your wants. Third, write down every single debt, the balance, and the interest rate. You can't out-earn a spending problem if you keep borrowing to fund it. You really have to face the numbers exactly as they are. Which brings us to the accountant's core philosophy. Clarity creates control. You see, a lot of the time, debt happens not because you don't earn enough, but because of uncontrolled spending that just sort of grows silently in the background. By forcing yourself to face the math without any of the emotion, you transition from this state of constant panic into a state of calculated, powerful control. You finally know exactly what you're up against. Moving right along to part two, strategy and optimization. Now we're thinking like the master banker. A banker doesn't just look at numbers, they weaponize them to keep the system from taking more of your money than absolutely necessary. So you basically have two main attack strategies for paying down debt, and they cater to totally different psychological needs. On one hand, you've got the debt snowball. Here, you list your debts from the smallest balance to the largest, pay minimums on everything, and throw every extra dollar you have at the smallest one. When it's gone, boom, you get a massive psychological win, and you roll that momentum into the next debt. On the flip side, we have the debt avalanche. This one is for the math nerds out there. You target the debt with the highest interest rate first, regardless of the size. While it might take a bit longer to see that first debt disappear, this method mathematically destroys high-interest traps and actually saves you the most money over time. Honestly, just pick the one you know you're going to stick with consistently. Now, our banker wants you to look really closely at your bills and ask yourself this critical question. Are you trapped in minimum payments? Seriously, minimum payments are literally one of the biggest reasons debt lasts for years and years. When you pay only the minimum, the interest just keeps growing silently in the background, while your actual balance shrinks painfully slowly. It makes your debt incredibly expensive. You must always try to pay more than the minimum whenever possible to actually attack the principal amount. So, how do we execute this banker strategy? By lowering your interest rates. That way, more of your hard-earned money goes to the principal,
not just padding the bank's profit margins. You can optimize this math in 3 ways. First, look for 0% APR balance transfer cards. These can sometimes give you 12 to 21 months of interest-free payments. Second, if your credit is decent, look into a personal loan for debt consolidation. That merges multiple high-interest cards into one predictable payment at a lower rate. And third, actually, a lot of people forget this one. Just call your creditors. Sometimes simply asking for a lower rate and bringing up your history of on-time payments actually works. No harm in asking, right?
Finally, we reach part 3, wealth and mindset. It's time to bring in the financial advisor. This is where we shift gears, focusing on behavioral finance and transforming you from just a debt payer into a real long-term wealth builder. Our advisor knows exactly why people fall right back into the debt cycle. They don't have a buffer for when life happens. And life always happens, right? Medical bills, a job loss, sudden car repairs. Without savings, your credit card suddenly becomes your emergency plan. But having a starter emergency fund of just $500 or finding a way to earn an extra $500 a month can drastically alter your financial trajectory and keep you safe from those unexpected traps. Now, if you've already cut your expenses as low as they can possibly go, you just need more income to throw at the debt. The advisor calls these your debt shovels. Basically, you need a bigger shovel. You can increase these shovels by leveraging your skills. Think freelancing, remote work, online businesses, or even using new AI tools to create side income streams. Or, just start simple. Look around your house. If you haven't touched an item in a year, sell it on a marketplace and use 100% of that cash for your debt attack. Every extra dollar is a weapon. Which leads us to a real game changer, the found money rule. This is huge. Whenever you get your hands on unexpected cash, whether that's a nice tax refund, a bonus at work, or even just a $20 bill you found in an old winter coat, you apply 100% of it directly to your current debt target. By treating all surprise cash as dedicated debt-killing money, you can literally shave months off of your repayment timeline. And that brings us to the ultimate goal, because debt isn't just a math problem, it's a behavioral one. Real financial freedom begins when your spending decisions become entirely intentional. Once your high-interest debt is finally stabilized and that emergency fund is fully loaded, your focus shifts to the wealth transition. Wealthy people focus on assets and long-term thinking. This means redirecting those old debt payments into building wealth through ETFs, index funds, retirement accounts, and dividend stocks. The goal isn't just to be at zero. The goal is to create lasting financial freedom. Every single year, thousands of people escape the suffocating way of debt, and they do it by making consistent, smart decisions. Remember, discipline beats motivation every single time. Small, daily decisions create massive long-term results, and consistency is what ultimately creates your freedom. So I want to leave you with this final thought. What is the biggest financial challenge you are facing right now? Define it clearly like the accountant, strategize against it like the banker, and let the advisor mindset drive your very first actionable step toward real wealth today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.